Hey there, Trail Fam, Princess Peach here. So there's a question I get asked all the time. Why do you want to thru-hike the Appalachian Trail? So I figured it was time to make a video about it. Honestly, I never thought people would be so curious about my why, but when I stop to think about it, I get it. I often wonder the same thing about other thru-hikers whenever I meet them on the trail. What pulls them in? What fuels that desire? For me, it can only be described as a longing, something deep inside that just knows I need to be out there. But let's rewind a bit and unpack that longing. Before I ever truly knew what the AT was, I had only ever heard the name Appalachian Trail, but I had no idea what it meant until 2017. At that time, I was a separated single mom just trying to keep my head above water, paying bills, raising two teen and tween boys, and navigating a tidal wave of emotions, both mine and theirs. In the middle of all that chaos, I decided that we could use a change of scenery one weekend. I announced to my boys, we're going to the mountains for a weekend adventure. And I'm sure you can imagine how that went over. Groans, eye rolls, reluctant packing. But finally, off we went from our seaside life in Virginia Beach to Waynesboro, Virginia, where I'd planned a cheap hotel stay and a simple hike the next morning. So after successfully dragging my boys from the hotel Wi-Fi, we grabbed a late breakfast at this little cafe town, and the owner, a super chill mountain hipster type, asked what brought us into town. When I told him we were new to hiking, he gave us a more appropriate recommendation for our experience level, Spy Rock. He said it was a simple hike with an amazing view at the end. Simple? Okay, I'll give him that. Easy? It was not. At least not for my youngest son and me. We huffed and puffed our way up that incline while my oldest practically sprinted ahead, riding that teenage testosterone high. All right. We got the Tuscan Raider. Oh yeah, I just know that there's, oh look, people left their packs and stuff laying around.
There's people up here.
Yeah, there's people. I found something dead. There's gonna be like vultures circling here pretty soon. Oh, here they come. We finally made it to a little clearing at what I thought was the end of the trail and stopped for a picnic. I looked around and said, well, this is nice, but where's this epic view the cafe guy talked about? All I saw was a giant wall of rock. And then a group of young hikers appeared, and just like that, they scaled the rock face like a little pack of billy goats. I just stood there like, what the? And before I could say anything, my oldest son pointed out, Mom, that's part of the trail. And then without hesitation, he started climbing up. Of course, I panicked, shouted, Isaac, get down from there. Mud. Ninja mountain hippies?
Yeah, one of them has long hair.
They did have a lot of hair. Wait a minute. Really?
Yep.
Hold up. What? Okay. And that's when an old man appeared, out of nowhere. Trekking poles, huge pack, weathered face. He looked like he'd been out there for a hot minute. I even briefly wondered if he was homeless, but his expensive hiking gear indicated otherwise. He smiled at us, then, just as effortlessly as those young hikers, he climbed that rock face. When he was about halfway up, he turned back, extended his trekking pole, and said, "Need a hand?" So naturally, my pride kicked in, and I figured that if this old man could do it, so could I. And with his guidance, my youngest son and I mustered up the courage to climb, and we were not disappointed. When we reached the top and pulled ourselves up over onto the ledge, I saw the most breathtaking view I had ever seen in my life. It was in that moment I was reminded that even though I was going through some very tough times, was suffering the consequences of some well-intentioned but poor decisions, and all I really craved more than anything else in the whole world was safety and stability, some risks actually are worth taking. Sitting atop that mountain ridge, looking at the majestic landscape before me, helped fundamentally shift my perspective, and I experienced a type of groundedness that I'd never felt before. In that moment, I suddenly knew that everything in my life would eventually be okay. Better than okay. If something like this could exist in my reality, how could it not?
Don't go away. You're already
Whoa.
I'm doing the AT. Man.
Andrew, stop drinking ice.
Well, that's my goal. So
Andrew, don't get your feet wet. Get out of there. Get out of there. What are you doing?
Yeah, I should probably wait till I go with this.
Stairway to heaven.
Here's some dirt, because this is incredible. Let me just get some
I overheard the group ask the old man if he was hiking the AT. The AT? What was that? He explained that he had started in Georgia a couple months ago and had been hiking ever since. Wait, I thought, he's been living out here? Like in a tent? And hiking every day? Even in the snow? As someone who is originally from South Texas, where there are 0 mountains, I had never heard of such a thing. But the more he talked, the more intrigued I became. When I got home, I Googled AT and found out that it stood for the Appalachian Trail. And that is where my real journey began. Since childhood, I had long dreams of having a long-term outdoor adventure, and now I had just found my thing. I started learning all about the AT, buying gear, whatever I could afford. When I told my boyfriend, now husband, about it, he asked, "Can I come too?" And I said, "Sure, why not? Let's do it." But if I'm being honest with myself, back then, I really wanted to hike the AT because I was desperate for escape. My life felt like a tightrope walk. One wrong move and everything would collapse. The AT became this dream that gave me something to hold on to, something incredible to look forward to in a sea of challenges that was my life at the time. Fast forward to 2022. My life had changed exponentially for the better, and I was finally ready to embark on my journey. Or so I thought. I'll save that adventure for another video because, well, let's just say it didn't go quite as planned. But even though it was cut short, those 2 months on the AT was the most freeing experience in all my life. So, why do I still want to thru-hike the Appalachian Trail? For all the same reasons before, but they've evolved. This time around, instead of trying to get away from something, I'm moving towards something. This time is more than just a hike. It's a pilgrimage. Somewhere out there on that trail, I left a little piece of my soul. And even though life has moved on and so much has changed in very positive ways in many parts of my life, I'm still tethered to the AT. It's as if I've only been temporarily off trail, a hiker's term for when you step away to heal, take care of family, have an important event to attend, etc. That being said, there is no other option for me. I'm going back, period. I miss the woman I became out there on the AT, and now I'm returning to reclaim her. Look what I found. I hope this story helps you all understand my why. And if you've ever felt that same pull, that deep longing for adventure, perhaps you've got a journey of your own waiting for you. Until next time, happy trails, my friends.